This week's podcast, I thought I'd do myself. We've been using AI. It's interesting using AI. It's impressive, but we've had trouble with AI going off on their own tangents, doing their own thing, somewhat ignoring us. We thought we'd bring the human back into it. I thought I'd try this. I might try it with my students going forward. You can let me know if you like it better with a human or a computer. I think I can compete a little bit with computers. I find this last week a very interesting week. You can see from the title there all these huge IPOs, especially three companies in the US, are causing issues for index providers. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about the US market. The data we received last week started off Tuesday with the Conference Board Consumer Confidence. It came in above expectations, and it's been essentially in line with this history, not particularly strong or not particularly weak. One thing we do notice with the Conference Board's consumer confidence is how different it is from the University of Michigan's. We really think the Conference Board makes more reasonable sense given that its low was during the 2008 crisis. We just have a tough time believing that consumers today are in worse shape than they were in 2008. If you look at the two ratios, the University of Michigan's consumer sentiment hit its all-time low here just recently. It's first time to fall below 50%, well below where it was in 2008. You look at the Conference Board down at the bottom right there, it's in line with this history, and 2008 just makes much more sense to us. So maybe the consumer is not as weak as the University of Michigan shows, and you're certainly not seeing that weakness in retail sales yet. Consumer seems to be holding up even with the Iran conflict and with gas prices, energy prices being higher. Last Friday, we got the PCE Price Index. It came in hot at 0.4% on a monthly basis and 3.8% year over year. That's certainly a hot number, but below expectations and in line with what we have been seeing with the CPI and PPI recently. So no surprises there. If you look over time, it has been elevated here recently because of the Iran conflict and the higher energy prices. But markets generally took this as positive news just because it could have been much worse than it was, and it's essentially came in line. But Friday is the big number, so that inflation number coming in, but with what we've been seeing is probably more subdued jobs reports recently, does limit the Fed's ability to sharply increase interest rates. But if the jobs report comes in Friday hotter than expected, especially materially hotter than expected, then the markets will start expecting the Fed to raise rates far more quickly. We do have a new Fed chairman in Kevin Warsh. President Trump said he wanted him to be an independent board chairman, but President Trump also said he expects interest rates to be cut soon. So there is certainly some political pressure. But a hot jobs report this Friday could be the catalyst to really change what the Fed's going to do in 2026. Could certainly have an impact on interest rates. We've seen a little bit of relief on interest rates the last couple of weeks. That could change with the hot jobs report and could even change what we've seen in this strong momentum in the U.S. stock market. So watch for that jobs report. Could be a really important release. As far as the Fed goes, not much change from last week. The probability of rate increases for the rest of 2026 did jump above 50% for the first time here, going up to 51.4% from 48% last week. The chance of a rate cut is still at 0%. No one is expecting a rate cut now, not with these hotter inflation readings. As far as the stock market goes, yeah, we're hitting all record highs. We've seen some really strong numbers in the US, especially. Most segments in the US either hit records today or have hit records in the last couple of days. It's a little deceiving, mainly because, as you can see in this chart, it's been driven entirely by the tech sector. And especially here recently, it has been driven by software. You saw software industry stocks sell off from last October through March of this year, falling 34% as investors started worrying that AI was going to be taking revenue and business away from software companies. Those companies have now essentially recovered most of that. They're up about 34% since late March. And especially here this last week, they have driven the tech stocks higher and driven stock markets higher. Look at the rest of those sectors, though. Almost all of them are down, some down over one down over 5%. Utilities, consumer staples down 4.5%. Only two other industries besides tech were positive this last week, industrials and materials, and they were only up marginally. So this has really been a very shallow market, definitely not a broad-based market rally. That's a concern. If you look at all the segments, large cap up 1.7%, a strong week. Small cap, an okay week, up 1.3%. Value stocks really not doing well here, up only 0.5%. You're really seeing the driving force being the tech stocks. Looking at growth stocks up almost 3%, NASDAQ up 2.8%. One additional issue for tech stocks that we're seeing is these huge IPOs. SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI. It'd be interesting to see who hits first. The three of them together, their total market cap could be 4 trillion. You're not going to see 4 trillion hitting the market because their actual free float is pretty small. So their actual impact on indices will probably be muted here for a while. But this is an unusually large set of IPOs all hitting together, all AI related. Investor interest is extremely high. There's a lot of demand for exposure, so that puts a lot of pressure on the index providers. The index providers do have rules about free float, and so we'll see what happens with this free float over time as the insiders and founders start selling their shares. The index providers also have waiting periods after an IPO where they'll say, hey, you've got to wait 6 months or a year. We're seeing some of the index providers like NASDAQ cutting their waiting periods down from 3 months to 15 days, for example, to accommodate SpaceX because they know their investors are going to want to see these important critical AI stocks in the indexes. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think the longer term issue is this is just more public tech firms joining these already tech heavy indices. And that's a concern. The tech sector is huge, and that's the tech sector, well over 30% of the indices. When they move stocks like Google and Meta out of the tech industry over to the communication services. So tech, when you include Meta and Google and some other stocks that have traditionally been tech stocks, tech is just taking over these indices. They're not as well diversified they've been. So that to me, I think is the longer term issue that we have with these IPOs hitting markets. As far as the rest of the world, developed markets had a really pretty weak week compared to the US, only up 0.4%. Emerging markets had a strong week, similar to what you saw with US tech stocks. And really the two that stood out this last week for emerging markets was South Korea. They hit another record, up 12% in 1 week. And in Argentina, that is very close to another record and has just rocketed up. You look at Argentina's stock market and South Korea's stock market over the last couple of years, it is truly amazing what those countries have done. Interest rates have, again, for the second week now, have recovered after this huge sell-off we saw the first couple of weeks of May. So good recovery for the bond market. This is a pretty strong week for bonds. And it's good to see the 10-year Treasury back below 4.5%, which is a pretty important psychological number. Again, the jobs report on Friday could definitely kick this into a new cycle, either up or down. So jobs report on Friday, really critical. So if you're preparing for an interview, I think it'd be interesting to bring up this disconnect between the Conference Board and University of Michigan's consumer confidence readings. That would be a great insight for an undergraduate college student to bring out. I really think the Conference Board's makes more sense just because of its low hit in 2008. Inflation still hot, but in line. So markets were somewhat okay with the PCE Price Index. ISM, it just continues to be strong. And 5 months in a row above 50%, and well above 50%. The US manufacturing is definitely showing a strong recovery, even with the higher energy prices. Friday's job report could be a game changer if it comes in really, really hot. Could be a game changer if it comes in negative. So it's been a very unpredictable and volatile release this last year in particular. So make sure you're following that, especially if you have an interview coming up, or at least mention that it's coming up if you have an interview before Friday. US stocks hitting records, but very shallow spread this last week, with it being driven almost entirely by tech stocks and especially software industry. Emerging markets doing great, especially with South Korea and Argentina stocks driving those markets higher to all-time highs, and really, really strong, and pretty amazing rocket soaring higher stock markets. And then the bond market, it's nice to see 2 weeks of recovery here after that sharp sell-off, to see that we weren't just going to see a massive sell-off in bonds, which would really feed through the rest of the economy and into the stock market. So interesting week. Watch for the jobs report on Friday, and then watch how these IPOs hit the news and hit markets. It's going to be an interesting few months in 2026.